The Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association, GRNMA, has declared a strike action over the government's failure to implement an agreed condition of service. This has led to a near collapse of the health sector. Today, I am joined by the ranking member on the Health Committee of Ghana's Parliament, Dr. Ayew Afriye, to discuss this issue. Honorable, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
To start off this conversation, do you think we should have even gotten to this point in the first place?
Yeah, I pretty much think we shouldn't have got into this position. I think for 6 months now that the nurses and midwives have been looking forward to government to listen to them as far as this CBA or this collective bargaining agreement was agreed upon in May 2024, and it was supposed to have been implemented, I think, effective a certain day in July 2024. And then the nurses themselves took themselves to court. That's their Professional Psychiatry Nurse Association of Ghana. They took the Ghana Registered Nurse and Midwifery Associations to court. And so the implementation was not effected because they injuncted the process. And that was where they were going to get the Comptroller General to effect payments. Their standoff between the two nursing associations was over in January 25th this year. And so thereafter, the nurses think governance or government is a continuous process. So regardless of where the previous government got it from, they all signed and approved of it, finance, health, everywhere. The next step is just payment. So they wanted them to go ahead to facilitate it. And according to the nurses, they've not had this audience from the finance ministry for as long as 6 months. And that's why they took this action. So I would say this action is unduly so because of government's posture towards the nurses and clearly what the government is acting in bad faith. Yeah.
Talking about bad faith, there are those who have you have mentioned the fact that this was supposed to have been implemented by the previous government, and some people don't seem to agree with that
process. Yeah. But the injunction was placed on the nurse and the registered nurses and midwife associations by the Professional Psychiatry Nurses Association of Ghana. And if they had not injuncted the process, they were instructing controller to pay. And so nobody can think about that because there was no vacuum. It was stalled because of a court injunction. And the nurses can produce documentation from the court to show that they even settled it out of court in January this year. You understand? So if they had not taken themselves to court, they would have been enjoying the provisions of their CBA.
So the blame squarely goes to this particular government and...
Absolutely. The stand of the first of all, two people to blame is the nurses themselves. The associations, their fronts were divided. Two, the nurses don't see the difference between change of government. So long as we have agreed and we got here and they are supposed to implement it for them, continue from January, get it done for them. And actually it is true. Workers, public sector workers under the previous government have not been sacked. Nurses are nurses, doctors are doctors, labs are labs. So for them, a change of government doesn't affect their rights. And rightfully so, they have shown good faith for January, February, March, April, May, up until June. Okay, the question is, why have they not been met? Why have they not been listened to? Why had somebody not explained for them to understand that because of so and so, we cannot do all these rights at the same time. Maybe we can onboard it 2 or 3 this year. Next year we can do this. Nobody has spoken to them. According to the nurses, they even were told from January that the ministry can have time for them, finance can have time for them in June. And becomes an issue of ego and somebody is dying. I'm a medical doctor. Why should I enjoy the death of anybody? Do I know a family person who is going to die on this? So sometimes availing yourself to speak to people can calm them down. Can just a few words can calm them down. Just also posturing positively to them, making them feel that we can be of help. But at this point, maybe understand it this way. That was not done. So there's a gap. And that has necessitated this action.
So you believe there is a deficiency in the government's handling of this situation?
Absolutely, the government's handling of this issue is poor.
What then do you make of the health minister's role specifically in all of this?
Yes, the health ministry as of now, it has gone beyond them. The health ministry, as we speak now the health ministry, what role do they have? They signed the CBA. They signed it. So it is moved from the employer. It is going to the exchequer. It's going to the finance person pay. So currently the health minister is just helpless. Really, the health minister is helpless. On this occasion, he has to find a way to even assuage the feeling of the nurses because the heat is, he bears a brand in the health sector. When they are not going to work, the heat is on him. But in essence, the problem is at the Ministry of Finance. Do you get the point? And so he must be the good mediator between the nurses and finance. And for me, as member of parliament, I don't see a difference between the health and finance. For me, it's government. So I'm not going to say health, I'm saying that for me, the position of government about it is poor. Period.
I believe the government's posture is been poor, but how about the specific demands of all the agreed conditions? Because today the deputy finance minister is saying this is going to add about some 2 billion to government's expenditure if all these demands are onboarded onto government.
The previous government that onboarded their right or expectation absolutely knew that it has a financial implication.
There are those who argue that the nurses tied the hands of the government behind its back because of the election.
Because of election. Election is in every 4 years, and the right of everybody is every day. So the fact that they sought their right last year in election has got nothing to do with the ability to leave. So they say the research allowance is low, so that it helps research work and training of nurses. You are going to upgrade nursing institutions from diploma to maybe degree. Now that's a global trend. And those who do research and train, you said our rate has been so poor. And the previous government said, okay, it's true. We are going to upgrade it for you. And you said, you are saying that it's because of elections. They are saying that we have an understanding from history since the 60s on uniform and other rights. And you are saying that because of election when it has been there from 1960. I don't think that elections got nothing to do with their rights. I think it's more got to do with the fact that they left a gap open for 6 months and they are agitated. So that is where the frustration is coming from, really not because of those elections. I don't believe in that.
Talking about elections, there are those who are even reading political meanings into it, even roping in the leadership of the GRNMA into all of that they are playing politics with this whole situation. What do you say to that?
If they will play politics with it to allow the nurses to leave so that Ghanaians can leave, then so be it, because what is politics? It's not advocacy and seeking the welfare of the people. And therefore, they are seeking their welfare, and you say they are playing politics to it. Then, of course, if you go to churches, they also play politics. The pastors play politics for the sessions and nomination of leaders and all of them. There's politics everywhere. But this politics is in this, is live and let live. It's not live and let die. This politics is about, talk to me, let me understand your feeling, what the finance person is going through. Sit me down. Okay, I need 8 things. I can't do all the 8. I can do like 2 or 3. I can do 2 this way. Maybe the previous government said we would have done all. But for us at this point, it is talking and respecting the people. Has that been done? Why would you serve this as politics when it is your right? And if there's a conflict, if you are too assertive, 2 people all assertive, then the conflict is looming up. But if actually it looms on, if one is assertive and the other person becomes more accommodating, then you can bring a compromise position. So 2 sides are all assertive, and we are suffering. I don't want to see the next person dying being a family member of mine. That is why I would also want to plead on the nurses as well, that when government gets them on the table, or even parliament today, we've just done committee work, we're going to invite them. They should lend us some goodwill, some good faith. And government must also come on board with some show of respect to them, because it's a win-win thing. And when somebody dies, I'm not happy. No politician is happy about that, because the next person who would die probably would be from your family. So who is happy about that? But you cannot also do that by undermining the rights of the nurses. So this is where we are. I think government should show some sort of good faith more to them.
You mean the finance ministry and the entire government machinery, probably the president himself getting involved in all of this?
Absolutely. The buck stops with him. So if he needs to do something about it, the president has to do something about it. So for me, it's a government posture that is dragging the standoff and going to court. No. That's not the way to go.
Yeah, Labor Commission coming in and all that.
In the Act 625, the same act that says that the health workers or the nurses are essential workers. If nurses are essential workers, you don't go to strike. So you know why they took them to court? They took them to court because essential services, you don't go to strike. But the same act in about section 10 or so, as stand to be corrected, is telling you that when they write to you within about 48 to 72 hours, you are supposed to respond to them. They wrote to you, did not respond to them. In one breath, on the same act, they wrote to you, didn't respond to them. Now, they go on strike, and then you go to court, reference to the same act. Is this fair?
So the Labor Commission
is this fair? It's not fair. That's why I'm saying that action in bad faith.
At the committee level, how have you received it, and how are you on your side as minority looking at this whole issue?
Yeah, we're going to put a hit on that. We are doing our press conference in the next few minutes, and definitely putting the pressure on government to sit with the nurses, and for us in Parliament, oversight to work. We also have the right to invite all of them, which we're trying to do on Thursday, and then we can listen to the sites and see where the problem is coming up from. But as long as my understanding of the issue is and the briefing that we have gotten, government is acting in bad faith.
So your demands on government finally, and then your call on the GhanaWeb and its associate bodies.
When government sees the need to sit with them and talk to them, they should also get reasonable. Too many lives lost, and you being given your money doesn't pay off. The end result is that we've lost so many lives. So for me, when government sees the need to sit down with them, they should be willing to understand the situation of government by saying, okay, all right, we need about 8 items. Okay, maybe we can stagger it. On bodies first. So they should also show some goodwill, some sort of reasonability. And in the nutshell, I'm sure they can get all they want if it is staggered over a period. That is all we are asking for. That is, for me, looking at the standoff, that is what is going to happen. There must be some trade-off. It's either all or none, or we bend to a position, okay, let's onboard for this year, maybe this year. So that's where we are now.
Has it come to your notice, government saying that currently the only time they are able to onboard will be sometime in December next year? And do you think it is fair to even allow this current expire, the expiration, because it's supposed to expire in December?
Again, it goes to an action in bad faith, because you have media budget review. You don't have the media budget review is in the process. So this is the best time to accommodate them. So if you say somewhere in December, you're telling them that I'm not going to listen to you, I want to look at the next budget cycle, when they know that you also have a right to chance on resources to be allocated to them. And that's the right time now to do, because you don't have the media budget review. So you can factor some of their concerns within the media budget review. They get an action in bad faith. Yeah, thank you too.
So that's the Member of Parliament for Ifijase Asokore, the Honorable Dr. Nana Ayew Afriye. He's also the ranking member on the Health Committee on Parliament. He believes that the government, throughout this process, has acted in bad faith. He also assures that his caucus is going to bring the brunt on the government to ensure that all this is resolved. My name is George AEC for GhanaWeb TV.